Newcomer to municipal politics, 23-year-old Leigh Bursey, who is running in the October 25th municipal election for Brockville City Council, said he would bring a new perspective to City Council. BNTV Brock News recently talked with Bursey and his campaign manager, Cameron Holstrom.
I've more or less asked to have this opportunity organized to talk to you so that I could introduce my campaign manager. This is Cameron Holstrom. He's a very hard-working person on a provincial and a federal level outside of this municipality. And I think he really he sets a standard in terms of young professionals, which is what I consider myself as well. And I definitely know that he can bring a lot of experience and a lot of understanding to this campaign. And I'm really excited to show him off. So maybe I'll give him an opportunity to speak for himself and talk about some of the things that he's doing.
I do believe that we need more young people involved in politics in general. And municipal politics is the natural entry point for that. And like I say, in a community like this where you have all the natural advantages that a lot of other communities in this country would kill for. Ready access to the United States, infrastructure, you have your major highway, your railways, you have a college, all of these things that many municipalities, I know where I'm from, originally northwestern Ontario, would kill to have. And I believe that there are not many reasons why a community like this cannot thrive and grow and be something for everybody. And that's why I'd like to see someone like Leigh be able to have a chance to do that, and that's why I'm giving him my time.
Cameron Holstrom is currently the executive assistant to Thunder Bay MP John Rafferty, so he works every day on Parliament Hill and has definitely a very broad understanding of federal politics. Aside from that, he's actually a former city council candidate in Peterborough as well, and he also sits on a provincial Aboriginal Rights Committee. So I think that he definitely adds a brand new flavor, being a young person who also cares about this community, and he's coming from a completely outside perspective.
I'll tell you, Leigh is one of the hardest working people that I know. He's a good friend of mine, and when he told me he decided to run and asked me to be his campaign manager, I couldn't accept fast enough, because having known Leigh now for a few years and seeing the hard work that he puts into everything that he does, he's already an active member of this community. And I think the one thing that we need in municipal politics, because in my opinion, out of all the levels of politics, municipal is probably the most important because it is dealing with your nuts and bolts, your everyday life, what's right in your doorstep. And for that you need people who are engaged, who are going to be involved, who are responsive. And that's something that I've known Leigh to be for a very long time. And I share Leigh's concern when it comes to representing various voices around the table. I know I don't live here, my wife is from here, and my wife and I have looked at moving here as a young professional couple. And unfortunately that hasn't been a possibility because the work hasn't been here and the opportunity hasn't been here. If it were, we would love to make this community our home. But that has to be there for it to happen. So, to my mind, we need to bring some more voices to the table and to diversify the conversation that's happening. And I believe Leigh is the perfect person to do that.
Well, I can honestly say I have a sincere and honest enthusiasm for this city. This is the most beautiful city I've ever lived in my entire life. Been here for 11 years now, and I consider myself a true and honest Brockvillian. What I think is missing most on our council right now is, I guess, a broadened focus. A lot of our councillors are doing a tremendous job, and they've worked very, very, very hard to do the great work that they've done. But what I want to do is I want to just shift the focus, generate a new conversation, open it up to a new perspective. I'm not a businessman. I own a business, but I'm not a businessman. I'm a young person in this community who wants to have a family here and one day wants to sustain himself in this community, building a house, paying a mortgage, driving a car. And all these things are things that I don't have right now. And I want to make sure that other young people in this community can also have that same fortune one day. And I think the only way to do that effectively is by making sure that there are people out there who represent all backgrounds and can generate all different types of understandings. It's the only way to create an honest and sincere debate about the issues that matter, is to make sure that you have all of your bases covered. I'm an intelligent person. I work very hard. I've knocked on over 5,000 doors so far this campaign, and I'm going to continue knocking on doors until I'm not allowed to anymore. And I'm doing everything I can to make sure that this is the most honest, sincere, above-board campaign I can be, which includes being objective, which includes being unbiased, and just doing your best. And I think that's what is necessary. And I don't think there's anything that hard work can't accomplish. And being someone who comes from a low-income background and is a young person, I represent two separate backgrounds that aren't currently represented by our council. And all I want to do is make sure those backgrounds are also equally represented, because I think affordable housing and retention of young people in our community are two very important issues. And I think I can offer first-hand knowledge on both of those. I'm someone who is desperately trying to make sure that this is a community that I can sustain myself and my family in. He's one that's considering one day bringing his family here. So I think between both of us, we'll be able to add a completely different perspective. And I commend all of our candidates for going out and working so hard. And I know all of your hearts are in the right place. And I hope that the best man wins this October. You have nine choices for your council right now, and there are 22 candidates running. And I'm just hoping one day, maybe if you wouldn't mind considering between October 18th and 25th, you throw one of your votes my way. I promise I won't disappoint.
Dale Elliott, BNTV News, Brockville.